Hey bootcampers, today I'm going to go through some hip stretches. So if you've got a sore back or sore hips, I'm just going to go through a little routine that you can implement at any time of the day. All you need is some matting, so a bit of soft flooring, a firm ball. Okay, so I've got a baseball here. If you've got a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, hockey ball, just something we can really get into our sore spots. And that is all you need, and you need a wall as well, somewhere where you can put your foot back onto in one of the stretches. So yeah, follow along. We'll go through this routine, and that way you have a little thing to do if you've got a sore back or sore hip. We're going to start off with our hip flexor stretch. So our hip flexor is here. We've got two, obviously, hip flexors, and these get really tight when we sit down a lot. So we're just going to start off in this half kneeling position. I'm going to stay up nice and tall, okay, and I'm going to squeeze my back glute here. So what I'm going to do is squeeze this as hard as I can, look straight ahead, and then lean forward a little bit, just like that. Okay, I'm going to hold that stretch, hold on for about 20 to 30 seconds, and keep squeezing here. Swap sides now, go to our other hip flexor, same thing, looking straight ahead, squeeze the back glute, okay, and there's a little bit of lean. We don't want to sort of drop our hips, we want to stay up nice and tall and just lean forward. We should be feeling that right in the hip flexor joint. So forward lean, you can raise the arm as well to hold that stretch. So we started our hip flexor stretching, now we're going to increase the intensity of that a little bit, okay? So you're going to be a little bit more flexible to do this, but you're going to get a greater stretch in that area, okay? So this is called a couch stretch. So we're going to put our back knee close to the wall, our foot up against the wall, and then we're going to bring our front foot up here, and the goal is to come up nice and straight, okay? So basically, I'm in that position there, I'm feeling that all in the front here. So if it's too intense, you can bring your knee out a little bit more, okay? And that sort of backs the stretch off a little bit, okay? But if you want a deeper stretch, you want to get your knee closer to the wall, okay? And then obviously come up right like this, and you get a nice deep stretch there. So whatever's comfortable, just hold that. And make sure you breathe through the exercise. Don't hold your breath because it's too intense. Just relax and look straight ahead. Okay, so we're going to swap sides. We've got a nice stretch in the quad there, the hip flexor. Same thing, sort of assess how much intensity you want in front of that hip joint. One might be tighter than the other, so just assess that. So same again, tall, upright. I'm a little bit more flexible through here. I can actually get my glutes to my heel when I push back, so that's a good point if you can get hips to your heel. Right back here. And again, I'm going to raise my hand and hold that stretch, squeezing that back glute. Let's hold that. So coming out of the hip flexor stretch, we're going to move to our abductors. Okay, abductors from the inside of our thighs, catch down our knee joint, and these play an important role in stabilising our hips and can get quite tight, just like our hip flexors. So we'll loosen them up. Okay, I'm going to stick out the leg like that, And basically, this leg's going to stay bent, hands out in front, and I'm going to aim to get a stretch in this abductor area. I want to push our hip backwards, okay? And the more we push our hip back, the more intense the stretch is going to be through here. So let's hold that for about 20 to 30. Just push our hips back. Okay, so we're going to do our other side, same again. We're straightening the other leg out. Okay, keeping our back straight here. And again, we're going to shift our weight backwards. So with our hips, we push back and get more of an intense stretch through that adductor region, so the inside of our thigh. Let's give that one a go. So we stretch out our adductors, okay? So we've hit the hip flexors and adductors. Now we're going to go a little bit lateral, okay? We're going to go to our side hip flexors, also known as our TFL. So we can't really stretch that. So a good way to get into it is a firm ball, okay? Like a lacrosse ball or a baseball. It's just more beneficial to get in there into the tissues rather than a stretch, okay? So get your ball, lay on your side. And you're going to find your hip bone, right? So it should be nice and bony there, and you're just going to drop the ball below it, okay? So don't put the ball on the bone, just drop below it on your side, okay? Sort of attaches, it's about to attach to your glutes, but you just sort of go off the bone there, okay? Nice little soft spot there, and we're just going to lay our hips onto that ball and try and find a sore spot, and then just let your body sink into that. And I just want you to hold that for about 30 seconds. And try not to tense over the ball, try and let your body relax over it and just let you get a few sore spots and just sort of just hang there as long as you can for about 30. Okay, let's give the other side a go. And when you do find that sore spot, okay, the TFL muscle, you can do little movements as well around it. Okay, so once you find it, you can sort of like move the ball, move your hip a little bit, and it sort of gives a bit of a self-massage instead of just sort of placing your weight on it, which is also an option. Okay, and then you can also start to do a little bit of movements as well. So let's give this one a go. Alrighty, should have got a nice intense sensation through there, some real good sore spots, and that's just going to help our hip flexion, okay? So that's going to help us drive our knee, similar to what our hip flexor does. So, okay, we've hit that sort of hip flexor, adductor, TFL. We're going to move a little bit more behind and posterior to the glutes, okay? We'll use the ball, but first we'll loosen up the piriformis with a glute stretch. So this one here, you've probably done this before, but we can always get better at it and get a deep stretch. So important that we make this angle at the front with our front leg, and then the back leg, the aim is to make it quite straight. Okay, so my toes are pointing down. Alright, so as soon as I do that, it makes it hard for me to sort of drop my chest forward because I'm not that flexible through my hips. Okay, but I get a good stretch if I do drop that way. Okay, so the aim is to straighten that back leg as much as you can, toes down, and then you're going to feel a nice stretch in your hip and your glute as soon as you drop your chest forward. So just take it to about a 75% intensity, nothing too intense. Looking straight down the floor and just hold that glute stretch at the front. Okay. Swapping sides, you've got a nice deep stretch there in the glutes. Same again with this side. Straighten that back leg, toes down, make the angle with our front leg, and then we're going to drop our chest forward. Alright, so as soon as you find that sweet spot, that sore spot, just hold there and breathe. Okay? Don't hold your breath, concentrate on your breathing and just relax your body through it. Let's go. Alrighty, slowly come out of that one. So we stretched our glutes, our piriformis. Now we're going to hit it a little bit more with the hard ball, okay, the baseball here. So just like the other stretch, we went to our TFL, so we want our slide muscle, we found our hip bone, we dropped down. Now I want you to roll a little bit more to the posterior. Okay, so we're hitting that glute med, that glute max area. Okay, it can get quite tight with all our training and all our sitting down. So with the ball, okay, we're going to lean on it, okay, on the back here, and again I'm just going to drop my body weight over it. Find a sweet spot and try to tense your glutes when you're on the ball. Okay, if you're tensing, it's not going to self-massage, but if you try and let your body absorb the ball, the muscle will absorb the ball, it's going to feel a little bit more like a deep massage. So again, find a sweet spot. There's no right or wrong. It shouldn't hurt, like painfully hurt, but it obviously should be tender. And just sort of self-massage. And if you want to take a bit of weight off, sort of use your elbow to sort of back off a little bit. You don't have to put your whole body weight on it. Just lean onto it as much as you can handle. So a little bit of self-massage around that glute area. Let's go. Sweet spots there. Let's go to the other side. Same again, posterior, glutes. Relax the body, put as much weight on as you can with your elbow acting as a support. And then just ease your body, ease your glutes into that stretch. that should feel quite relieving, hitting all those areas. So we've sort of given a good release to those hip areas, which can get quite tight from sitting, squatting, lunging, all those things we do at boot camp, and obviously when we're not at boot camp as well. Give that a go, and yeah, feel free to look at our other videos on the channel.